end. But for now, let's take a look at tonight's top stories.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa says the ties between Mozambique and Zimbabwe will continue to grow.
He was speaking at the commissioning of the refurbished Machipanda railway line in Mozambique.
And in business, government pursues strategies to promote the domestic tourism market.
Later on in sport, thousands paid their last respects to the late former Warriors and Dynamo's goalkeeper, George Jojola Chigova, at Rufaro Stadium.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa says Zimbabwe and Mozambique will continue to consolidate the strong ties that exist between the two countries.
He was speaking at the commissioning of the refurbished Machipanda railway line in Mozambique, which is set to improve the movement of goods in the region. Our diplomatic correspondent, Josephine Mugio, gives us more.
Mozambique is Zimbabwe's gateway into the international community, given that Zimbabwe is a landlocked country. This Thursday, President Emmerson Mnangagwa attended the official commissioning of the Machipanda railway line in Mozambique at the invitation of his counterpart, President Filipe Nyusi. Rehabilitated at a cost of $200 million United States dollars, the railway line is expected to improve the movement of goods within the SADC region. President Mnangagwa congratulated his counterpart for resuscitating the railway line, which became obsolete over 20 years ago. The development will see increased movement of trade goods from the current 600,000 metric tons to 3.5 million tons in the first 12 months.
When I saw the video which was presented just now, I realized the truth that nyika inovakwa nevenevayo, nyika inotongwa nevenevayo, nyika inonamatirwa nevenevayo. Zimbabwe is a landlocked or land-linked country, and it continues to benefit from the use of Mozambican ports, railways and road infrastructure for the movement of both imports and exports. We are thus welcome this important development, as the use of trains and locomotives along the Beira-Machipanda railway line will reduce the transportation costs of goods between our two countries and the world beyond.
President Mnangagwa noted that such initiatives promote regional integration.
We are seeing, but we do not realize what we are seeing. We are seeing the philosophy of integration by the SADC region, so that together, when we build this infrastructure in our respective countries, we are actually increasing trade among ourselves, modernizing our infrastructure, growing our economies, not in isolation, but in partnership. I say to my dear brother, keep on this vision. Keep on this vision. It is not for the benefit of Mozambicans, it is for the benefit of our region.
Currently, long queues on either side of the Mozambican or Zimbabwean border are the norm. The establishment of this newly refurbished railway line is expected to ease this challenge, as this will offer an alternative for the transportation of goods.
With the inauguration of the railway line, kilometers and kilometers of tracks on the Mozambican side, kilometers and kilometers of lined up tracks on the Zimbabwe side. With the inauguration of this railway line, all that cargo will now go to Beira, or from Beira to Zimbabwe, Botswana, Zambia, and DRC by rail.
President Nyusi also believes in fostering strong regional integration.
We in SADC, the rehabilitation of the Machipanda railway line with about 317.7 started in 2019 to make this railway line more reliable and safer. We had trains moving, but with so many difficulties. Perhaps that was one of the reasons why these people left the railway line and started resorting to the road, we have the privilege to celebrate.
The event coincided with the Chimoio massacre, which claimed the lives of combatants and defenseless refugees on the 23rd of November in 1977 after a merciless attack by the racist colonial regime.
I am extremely pleased that my dear brother, President Nyusi, has invited me to grace this occasion as testimony to the strong and unbreakable bonds of friendship and solidarity that exists between our two nations, Zimbabwe and Mozambique. May I also say today is a historic day in that we in Zimbabwe and our brothers in Mozambique, we commemorate the Chimoio Massacre Day, where the brutal racist colonial regime of Ian Smith killed thousands of our people, including women and children at Chimoio. We should never, therefore, both our brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe, our brothers and sisters in Mozambique, must never forget our rich liberation history and that of independence, democracy, and freedom for the two countries, which we enjoy today. It came because our people sacrificed their lives. We in Zimbabwe will never forget, during our liberation war, that you, our brothers and sisters in Mozambique, looked after us as we fought for our liberation, for our democracy, for our independence. And today we continue to consolidate that friendship, and I'm here as testimony to that reality.
More than 5,000 people, including liberation fighters, women and children, were killed when the Rhodesian military force raided the Zanda military headquarters at Chimoio in Mozambique in 1977. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Machipanda.
The nation continues to remember and cherish those who sacrificed their lives in the country's quest for liberation. In fact, this Thursday marks the 46th anniversary of the Chimoio massacre, where over 5,000 Zimbabwean patriots were butchered by the racist colonial regime at the height of Zimbabwe's liberation struggle. Chief correspondent Ruben Barwe looks back at what transpired on this day back in 1977.
It was known that after the Chimoio Congress in Mozambique, the Zimbabwe African National Union, ZANU, then led by the late Comrade Robert Mugabe, saw the war in the then Rhodesia taking a new turn. Thousands of young recruits trooped into camps in both Mozambique and Zambia. Here we talk of Tembwe, Chimoio, Nyazonya, Chibawawa, Mapai, in Mozambique to mention but a few. We are also talking about Mukushi, Freedom Camp in Mulungushi, and Nampundu in Zambia, where Zipra cadres were. Rhodesian leadership under Ian Smith and his lieutenants like General Peter Wars saw the war escalating within Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, and decided to play dirty. Here they decided to do cross-border raids into the neighboring countries. And they thought it was logical to attack rare bases in the neighboring countries of Mozambique and Zambia. The attack on Chimoio on this date was aimed at sapping the morale of the cadres. Rhodesian forces knew the African people were adamant and determined to free themselves. Though the comrades were down during the attack on Chimoio, they were not out. They tried to repeat it at Mapai, and the attack was rebuffed. Rhodesians realized that the Zanla forces was no longer a pushover. Similar battles were fought at Mavonde, as this was no longer Chimoio or Nyazonya, and the Kavalamanja in Zambia in 1978 and 79. Lest we forget, the 23rd of November was a dark day for freedom-loving Zimbabweans that the precious blood of those who fell watered the tree of freedom of this country. Ruben Barwesa, SABC News, Harare.
The country is saving $200 million United States dollars annually after record wheat harvests, which have surpassed the targeted 420,000 metric tons for this year.
About 5 years ago, wheat was among the top 5 priority lists of imports due to constrained local production, with government spending hundreds of millions of dollars annually to import the commodity. The script has, however, changed, with the country becoming wheat self-sufficient.
The country has been importing wheat worth 200 million per year, and we've been getting from all over, including the Eastern Europe, the Southern America. Wheat has become the biggest import substitution program since 1980. This year, the 400,000 exceeds the 360,000 national wheat requirements, which means that it puts us on a better footing as we move into the next years. We will be having carryover stocks. That is very important in terms of making sure bread prices stabilize and also remains available.
Millers are grateful to government support in wheat production, thereby providing certainty for bakeries and an opportunity for exports.
As the Zimbabwe Wheat Board, I want to say congratulations to the government, to the farmers, and everyone along the wheat value chain for attaining self-sufficiency. We applaud all the effort, the resources that has gone into this bumper harvest. We should now be focusing on improving our efficiencies and target the export market within the region in sub-Saharan Africa.
Zimbabwe and Ethiopia are the only 2 countries in Africa which are self-sufficient in the cereal crop. Owen Mandova, SABC News, Harare.
The late national hero, Professor Ngwabi Bebe, has been described as a dedicated farmer who contributed immensely to agricultural transformation in the Chiwundura area. Our Midlands Bureau Chief, Tafara Chikumira, gives us more.
Having grown up as a raw boy herding cattle in Berengwa, the late Professor Bebe's upbringing might have inspired his acquisition of Chulu Farm after independence, a place he would call home away from city life. The community praised the late professor's humility as his interactions with the local community proved the late national hero he had an upbringing rooted in the spirit of Ubuntu.
Wanga ari munhu waigara zvine runyararo, zvakare wanga ari munhu waipanga mazano ane rudo, kurima chaiko chaiko nharaunda ino yese yemudunhu reMagambiza taitoraramira vokwaBhebhe, nokuti wanga ari munhu unorima mapotatoes, mavegetables, huku, mombe chaidzo. Saka taitorarama isati yava family ino yakanga ichitova yainzi Chulu Chanabi Hotel, kureva kuti chero nesu munharaunda munomu tiri vanhu vaitonyorekerwavo, nokuti vashandi vepahotera yacho vaingova vemunharaunda inoi. Pari zvinoike zvino chero yava college, vashandi vepacollege ipo panapa pavazhinji ndeve munharaunda.
Wanga ari munhu ane chido, achida kubatsira, anga ari denhero ruzivo, anga asingasarudzi. Kana ari kuno zvokuti professor kana kuti Dr. Bebe zvanga zvisipo, anga achingova musaprasi nomuvakidzani wedu. Anga asingasarudzi vashandi, asingasarudzi isu masaprasi, asingasarudzi vakuru navaduku, anga ane chido nomunhu wese. Isu takatozoziva kuti munhu ane dzidzo yakawanda-wanda patove pamberi. Kuma 1981-82 patakatenga mapurasi, taingofunga kuti ndomunhu wedu watenga purasi. Paainzi Dr. Bebe taifunga kuti kuda ndidhokuta chiremba wezvemiviri yavanhu, tisingazivi kuti ndidhokuta wedzidzo.
Ingwa, nyama, sepa, sokufuka, mafuta wanene wamwe, miango sengwa ndizi yangu, ndichiopiwa mbuya. Iko sonofariswa ni sepa, ni akuda kwa kufariswa. Kwa kubwele kwa zamu buwa. Kara kutino baraka usina msata yangu ndishuka.
Meanwhile, A memorial service for the late national hero was held at the Midland State University, where colleagues and government officials spoke highly of his contribution as an academic.
We were glued together by common purpose. We were glued together by a common vision.
I can't describe him as a person who was very meticulous, very analytical, and very fatherly. Professor Bebe, in professional terms we can say, was very honest and candid in the manner he would relate.
According to Wilfred Patterson, big thinking precedes greater achievements. In this regard, academics like the late Professor Ngwabi Bebe, Phineas Makurane, and Dr. Stanley Mudenge ignited courage and inspiration for the nationalist movement in Zimbabwe by using education to turn mirrors into windows of hope.
Professor Bebe's body will lie in state at his Mtausi home in Gweru before being flown to Harare on Friday. He will be buried at the National Heroes Acre on Saturday. Tafaraj Kumira, ZBC News, Gweru.
Prioritizing the rehabilitation of the electricity transmission and distribution infrastructure has been cited as a key ingredient to solving the country's power challenges. Now, this comes ahead of the presentation of the 2024 national budget next week.
It is envisaged that the country can save up to 400 megawatts from efficient transmission of electricity by the Zimbabwe Electricity Transmission and Distribution Company, ZETDC. However, Treasury has been implored to sufficiently fund the power utility to refurbish its infrastructure to streamline electricity transmission. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Power Development, Engineer Gloria Magombo, made the plea recently at a pre-budget seminar held in Mount Habden.
The strategies include that of ensuring that ZETDC migrates to cost-reflective tariffs so that it has the capacity to meet its obligations, but also most importantly to ensure that the maintenance and rehabilitation of the existing infrastructure is done. We are capacitating ZETDC to become credible, as you saw that currently it has not been able to meet its obligations. The restructuring of the ZESA to be more efficient and ensure cost containment is part of the strategy to address the issues.
To increase power supply to marginalized communities, Engineer Magombo noted the need to continue supporting the rural electrification agents.
We plead that we get more allocation to the Rural Electrification Fund Agency, and we want to thank Treasury for consistently giving us what they've been allocating us in the past and complete full allocations. Yes, we lost value because of exchange rate, but we have been given over the past, and that money we have put it into off-grid and macro-grid systems which don't give more pressure to the grid because they are self-contained, and that's what we are doing in rural communities.
Economic experts are of the view that Treasury must disburse or approve the budgetary allocations to ministries, government departments and agencies. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
In a related story, government has pledged to prioritize empowerment of women and people with disabilities in the 2024 national budget. Grace Sibanda gives us more.
The nation eagerly awaits the 2024 national budget, which will be presented on Thursday next week. Government has promised a fiscal policy anchored on the thrust of leaving no one and no place behind. A public engagement initiated by the Minister of Finance and Investment Promotion, Professor Mthuli Ncube, in Bulawayo this Thursday, saw women and people with disabilities speaking on their budget expectations.
We're having challenges in getting things out from outside the country, like our wheelchairs and everything. So if he's saying he's going to make it a duty-free thing, it will help us a lot.
Into enhle kakhulu ukuthi omama labo bebanakekele kubudget le khona khathesi wezothi omama in most of the cases yibo abanakekela izimuli bazakwanisa ukuthi beqalisa ama business.
Ndikufara out the government iri kufunga about isusu as ladies iri kuti empower kuti tivewo into business.
Professor Ncube reiterated that the 2024 national budget will prioritize vulnerable groups, including women.
There is an issue regarding a women's bank. They need loans. So we'll make sure that we extend prescribed asset status to women's bank and also to the youth bank, so these banks can support entrepreneurs who are youthful and are female. That budget will speak to them.
The national budget is expected to take the country on a growth trajectory as Zimbabwe aims to achieve an upper middle income society by 2030. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
More than 50 people have succumbed to cholera since the outbreak of the disease in February this year.
Wednesday this week, the country reported a total of 205 suspected new cases of cholera, with Harare accounting for the bulk of new infections. 55 cases were recorded in Kuadzana, which has reported the highest number of cases over the past week. Glenview recorded 24 new infections. Budiriro had 19, while 23 cases were reported at the Beatrice Road Infectious Disease Hospital. Chitungwiza recorded 31 cases, Buhera 23, Mutare 13, Mbire 4, Mutasa 4, Western Triangle 4, Mutoko 2, Sushavani 2, and Bikita 1. As of Wednesday, 141 cases were hospitalized, with 34 of them admitted at Beatrice Road Infectious Diseases Hospital. Mutare Rural had 50 admissions, while 33 are hospitalized in Buhera, with the rest in other facilities across the country. As of Wednesday, Zimbabwe had recorded 8,590 suspected cholera cases, 1,304 confirmed cases, 8,243 recoveries, 53 confirmed deaths, and 153 suspected deaths. According to the Ministry of Youth and Child Care Daily Situation Report, the country's case fatality rate is at 2.5%, which is high as the acceptable case fatality rate should typically remain below 1%. The national recovery rate is at 96%. In response to the cholera challenges, Cabinet this Tuesday announced the procurement of medicines and other accessories currently being distributed countrywide through NATFAM. Point-of-use water treatment chemicals are also being distributed to affected households. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
Stock theft has landed well-known Gweru businessman Tafadzwa Chokoto in prison after he was convicted alongside his 3 accomplices. The 4 will spend 9 years in prison for stealing 6 beasts at Somabula Farm.
The Ketu Rustling Syndicate includes well-known Gweru businessman Tafadzwa Chokoto, who runs butcheries in Mkoba. The 29-year-old Chokoto was sentenced to 10 years in prison, one of which is subject to withdrawal on condition he restitutes 2 beasts to the victim. The other 3 convicts, 29-year-old Clayton Pedzai, Tapua Mano, aged 19, and 22-year-old Innocent Lovu, were jailed for an effective 9 years each. The quartet claimed that they had bought the Ketu from Courage Mabeka, who is still on the run, but were convicted as they failed to provide the necessary documentation to prove the purchase. The state proved that the convicts were arrested after slaughtering 2 of the stolen beasts, while 4 other Ketu were found at Chokoto's farm in Ngamo. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Gweru.
Do remember to log in to our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw for more news, and also interact with us on our social media platforms, on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Our handle is at ZBC News Online.
Still to come. In business, government pursues strategies to promote the domestic market. And in sport, thousands pay their last respects to the late former Warriors and Dynamos goalkeeper George Jojola Chigova at Rufaro Stadium. And we take a break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Unearthing the hidden. In-depth analysis. 24 Investigates. Shines the light in the dark corners affecting our society. We go in-depth to tell the complete story. 24 Investigates. Dedicated to promoting accurate, factual and accountable news reporting. Nothing remains concealed forever.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We continue with our main news bulletin. The rural community of Rushinga is enjoying the fruits of the Second Republic's universal healthcare coverage, with an estimated 5,000 people benefiting from a new clinic constructed under the devolution program.
Traveling long distances of up to 20 kilometers to access healthcare is now a thing of the past for villagers in Jomtukutu and surrounding areas in Rushinga district after the opening of a rural health clinic in the area last December.
Taifamba kubva panapa tichihwara malaria tichienda ku Nawa kunorapwa tichienda tichirara murodhi zvinapa tiri kufara nokupembera kuti kliniki tanayo pedyo.
Kuwakwa kwekliniki kweChomtukutu kliniki kwakatibatsira zvikuru. Tinoda kutenda His Excellency Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa nechirongwa chedevolution.
Kuno vamwe vanhu vaiti vakadzimba nonhumbo vaisunungukira murodhi ezvinezvi aiwa kungorwadziwa nokutosvika.
Special Advisor to the President for Monitoring Implementation of Government Programs and Projects, Dr. Joram Gumbo, who was on an assessment tour at the clinic this Wednesday, said the project is one of the 146 ongoing projects in Mashonaland Central Province.
Chomtukutu Clinic is a clear example of a health facility aimed at bolstering the primary health care needs of local communities. Allow me to make the point that the rapid development that we seek to achieve through the 100-day cycle program can only be achieved if communities are allowed to actively participate in the project.
Mashonaland Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo, expressed government's commitment to ensuring universal health access.
We are proud to say that this soon-to-be commissioned clinic stands as a beacon of hope, a place where the health and the well-being of our community will be prioritized, courtesy of the visionary and people-centric leadership of His Excellency President Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa.
Construction of other facilities at the clinic is still in progress, with a waiting mother's shelter and a staff house yet to be built. The project has become a source of hope even for Mozambican nationals who are crossing the border for treatment at the health facility. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Rushinga.
We now move over to our Montreal studios, where we are joined by Sibukele Maposa, who will take us through the next couple of stories from that end. It's over to you, Sibukele.
Thank you very much, Justin and Tari. Good evening, Zimbabwe. We carry on with the news. Government is implementing strategies to ensure the safe disposal of radioactive waste for the benefit of the public and to protect the environment.
The management of radiation emitting material has been identified as a matter of concern that needs proper management to protect workers, the public, future generations, and the environment from excessive radiation. Stakeholders attending the Radiation Safety Conference in Harare spoke on the importance of conscientizing the public on the risk of radiation exposure and proper waste management.
This is an area which is heavily regulated, so what then mines do is to then have management plans that dovetail or that integrate all these facets that I'm talking about into a SHE management system, which is then used by an operation.
The times you end up getting more radiation to giving more radiation to the patient than is necessary because the equipment is outdated. So we are requesting that our equipment be updated, upgraded.
The Minister of Energy and Power Development, Honorable Edgar Moyo, highlighted government's commitment to setting up infrastructure for radiation waste management.
As we are all aware, the use of radiation technologies brings with it risks to health and the environment. At the end of the spectrum of these negative effects is the high incidence of cancers worldwide, including in Zimbabwe. The cancer burden continues to grow at a tremendous cost, financially and to human life.
Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe Board Chairperson Dr. N. Mary Nyakabau stressed the importance of such conferences in improving performance and enhancing competencies in radiation use.
Through these platforms, we have been able to access and benefit from various resources and opportunities such as training and capacity building, technical cooperation, and best practice and experience exchange.
Radioactive waste can be in gas, liquid or solid form, and its level of radioactivity varies. If not properly handled, it can cause cancer, and the waste can remain radioactive for a few hours, months or thousands of years. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
A 4-day training program in culinary art and wine tasting led by the Italian Embassy is underway in the Victoria Falls.
The training program, which ends on Saturday, is part of the European countries' annual Global Cultural Exchange Initiative, which feeds into the International Italian Cuisine Week. The initiative will also see renowned chefs, sommeliers, and a well-known fashion house models and designers leading the training program.
In this course we explain so the most typically dish of Italy, for example Italian risotto, okay, the rice that we have prepared this morning, the truffle, black truffle risotto, the pasta, okay, we made lasagna.
We bring here with us our culture, Italian culture, about cuisine and mixology and wine.
The host is appreciative of the training program and the expected benefits.
This is being broadcasted everywhere, and people will have confidence to travel, especially on the Italian market. They will have confidence to travel to Zimbabwe, knowing that they will find something to eat in Zimbabwe, which is prepared by Zimbabwean chefs, and it actually matches their expectations.
Zimbabwe is strengthening existing source markets and opening new ones as part of the tourism recovery plan and growth strategy. Italy remains one of the major source markets for international tourists, with Zimbabwe claiming its share after recording 6,411 arrivals from the European market in 2022, up from 406 in 2021. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
The Ministry of Local Government and Public Works is pushing all departments, parastatals and stakeholders under its purview to play their part in improving service delivery to the citizenry.
A strategic review workshop for the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works, currently underway in Masvingo, was an opportunity for Minister Winston Chitando to remind his lieutenants of their mandate. He made it clear that there is no compromise to service delivery as pronounced by President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Hence, all stakeholders must come up with plans to ensure they deliver in line with the vision of an upper middle income society by 2030.
What is most important for each local authority is to have a plan to transform towards an upper middle income economy.
The ministry also noted that it is concerned about issues around capacitation of traditional leaders and the Civil Protection Department, as well as the importance of private sector partnerships.
Fundamental question which I need us to answer strategically is to say, what are our Vision 2030 accelerators? But in my view, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, these do revolve around 4 Ds. The first one is devolution, second one decentralization, digitization and development. That is rural and urban development.
The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Local Government and Public Works believes it is time to amend the Rural District Councils Act and the Urban Councils Act to align them to the Constitution.
Amendment of the RDC Act and the Urban Councils Act to be aligned to the new Constitution.
The recently launched Local Authorities Policy Framework will guide local authorities to deliver their mandate.
Nyaya ngachitaurika yanga iri revenue collection versus service delivery. Revenue iri kucollectwa local authorities edu yakamira sei? Is it in tandem with the service delivery that we are doing?
President Mnangagwa recently launched the blueprint dubbed A Call to Action, No Compromise to Service Delivery, where he called upon local authorities to develop a roadmap towards Vision 2030 and improve people's lives. Messi Bof, ZBC News, Masvingo.
And that will be all. I am Sibigele Maposa, Tariro, and Justin will take you through the rest of the bulletin. Good evening.
Kele, a 29-year-old man from Harare's Heathcliff suburb has been found dead at a local shebeen in a suspected case of suicide.
Residents of Heathcliff suburb in Harare this Thursday woke up to shocking news of a lifeless body found lying at a local shebeen known as Pashumba in Jadavu area. The residents identified the deceased as a well-known patron who was last seen at the shebeen the previous night in a drunken stupor. When the ZBC News crew arrived at the scene, detectives from the Zimbabwe Republic Police were carrying out investigations.
Inini chisikawo ndabantu kuona munhu akaita se ara muko Shumba maina na mukadzi wake wakarara ndakatoti ko mko apa chiko ichi zvakanzi vamboita kunge majokes ndakati aiwa mukaimuone
uyu mukomana anga asiwa apa akatotorwa kuseri uko nevakomana vaitamba sunuka ndobva wazomugadzika ipapa paazofira apa hazvekuzonzi akamwa poison ndatozozvinzwa makuseni kuti anga akamwa poison kwaanga abva kumashuro.
Tatongoitawo zvokunzwa togara totogara panext door nawo timaneighbors takonzwa kuti Jose afa ndobva tangoti semunhu watinoziva muzukuru wangu tambva takuzongondirwadza bva tangoyo bva taona kuzvishuwa munhu akaita sei akatorara.
Murume wangu bva asvika kubva kubasa kuma 10 dzemanheru achibva asvika choti kuuya akarara pandiani ngaaende vanhu vanenge vasina kudhakira pana panouya vachitinetsa ngaaende kupi kwaangari. Then murume wangu vatomusiya vaenda kuseri kwakune vanhu vanga vari kuseri vaitamba ndopatakazoovhara shopu vatarara hatina kuziva kuti saka ngofunda pamwe aenda kumba kwake vatarara makuseni pauya mukomana unzi Richmond ndiye atoya achiti ko munhu akarara apa munhu aratidza anenge afa.
This comes a year after a 16-year-old girl from Heathcliff fatally stabbed her ex-boyfriend with a kitchen knife at the same shebeen. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Mighty Warriors head coach Shadrack Mlauzi, who is facing charges of indecent assault, will be given the right to defend himself on the 5th of next month after the state closed its case this Thursday.
Mugari, a safeguarding officer who works with the Mighty Warriors and technical staff, took to the witness stand and told the court that the complainant raised concerns of abuse before the complainant and the accused were asked to write reports. She said the matter was reported to the police after the accused denied the accusations of indecent assault. During cross-examination, the witness admitted that chats submitted by the complainant had gaps as some messages were deleted. She also admitted that the complainant had voluntarily switched rooms, taking another one next to the accused. According to the state witness, the complainant was abusing alcohol during their stay in South Africa. The trial was deferred for the accused to prepare for his defense case. Mlaozi, who is out on bail, is facing 2 counts of indecent assault. He allegedly molested the female member of the technical team in Zimbabwe and in South Africa on different occasions. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
And from the courts, we take a break. Join us when we return with business.
Unearthing the hidden. In-depth analysis. 24 investigates, shines the light in the dark corners affecting our society. We go in-depth to tell the complete story. 24 investigates, dedicated to promoting accurate, factual and accountable news reportage. Nothing remains concealed forever.
Is on a drive to grow the domestic tourism market with a view of surpassing last year's figures recorded during the festive season.
Government is pursuing various tourism growth strategies with the latest dubbed Uripi Ungapi Zimbo to promote the domestic tourism market. Stakeholders believe the strategy will play an important role in promoting domestic travel during the festive season. The campaign was on show at the Travage Travel 20th anniversary celebrations in Harare this Wednesday, with stakeholders confident of registering positives this season.
We are definitely looking at increasing our domestic footprint in terms of the numbers that have come through. Last year, we made an odd 12.4 million trips within the domestic market. This is a milestone that we achieved. So we are looking at pushing it even higher this year. And, with the strategies that the minister has put in place, we are very hopeful.
South African businesswoman Sean Mkize, who attended the celebrations, endorsed the destination Zimbabwe. Travage Travel Chief Executive Officer Ms. Zodwa Mkandla noted that growth prospects for the tourism sector are bright.
The industry is growing. Yes, there was a fallback during the COVID period, but we are picking up, we are growing. I've noticed there's so many new hotels that are coming up in Victoria Falls. They're doing very well, and Zimbabwe has become the best destination to visit in Africa.
Business consultant Ms. Cletus Nyachowe stressed the importance of the corporate sector in supporting domestic tourism.
This speaks of resilience and determination.
The tourism sector is targeting a $5 billion United States tourism economy by 2025. Bruce Chawanda, SABC News, Harare.
And we get straight into the arts. The much-awaited second edition of the Harris Continental Music Festival, set for Bulawayo next month, will be headlined by South African hip-hop musician Cassper Nyovest. Our reporter gives us more.
The second edition of the ACM will be held at Queen's Sports Club in Bulawayo on the 2nd of December, with award-winning South African hip-hop musician Cassper Nyovest being the main attraction.
Our headlining acts will be having an international artist, Cassper Nyovest from South Africa.
The South African rapper will be joined by Zimbabwe dancehall musician Winky D and other local artists such as Fab Jim, Shanaga Koko, Killer T, Zo 7, DJ Nzo, Bazooka, Just Signal, and My Titi.
We want to create an international feel for our local artists so that they can compete with international artists, so that they get used to the atmosphere of performing at international stages.
The organizers of the festivals have expanded the pool of musicians to accommodate different music tastes. Lisa Masuku, ZBC News.
On that note, we take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be giving you the sport. Stay tuned.
Unearthing the hidden. In-depth analysis. 24 investigates, shines the light in the dark corners affecting our society. We go in-depth to tell the complete story. 24 investigates, dedicated to promoting accurate, factual and accountable news reportage. Nothing remains concealed forever.
Welcome back and thank you very much for staying tuned. We now give you the sport. The football family converged at Rufaro Stadium in Harare this Thursday to pay their last respects to the former Warriors and Dynamos goalkeeper George Jojola Chikova, who died in South Africa last week.
Indeed, it is a dark moment for the football fraternity as we continue to mourn the legend, the late former Dynamos and Warriors goalkeeper George Chikova, renowned as Jojola, the gentle giant. And now the football fraternity thronged the Rufaro Stadium as it all started when he began his career in 2012, serving for the Glamour Boys, the Blue Army Dynamos, taking over from the veteran, the reins of Washington Arubi.
Veteran football commentator Charles Mabiga rolled back the hands of time as he took us back to the days when the late George Chikova was in goals at this iconic venue.
Has Lesotho come to take their first penalty? George Chikova seems like he has covered the whole poster. They come, the penalty comes over. It's saved by George Chikova.
Amply supported by Dynamos fans who painted Rufaro Stadium blue and white this Thursday, it was an emotional moment which confirmed how great the man affectionately known as Jojola was. Chikova achieved greatness at a tender age after joining Dimbare at 21 in 2012, taking over from veteran goalkeeper Washington Arubi, who had just left for Pretoria University in South Africa. Chikova fought off competition from Atwo Mukandi and Maxwell Nyampandengu to assert himself as the best between the sticks for the Blues and White Army. As young as he was, the gentle giant never looked out of place even after criticism from the legion of Dynamos fans, especially those who gather at the Vietnam end of the ceremonial home of football. His exploits at the home of the Blue Army saw him being snapped up by SuperSport in 2014, a place he was to call home for many years. Chikova's childhood friend Kama Billiard, who was with him from their days at Aces Youth Soccer Academy to the national team, was at a loss of words.
We grew up together. I don't know. It has been great since we've never fought, and it was all about love. Very understanding guy, as tall as he was, but he had a very soft heart.
The football family concurs that they have lost one of the finest.
George Goangari munhu angari hard worker player.
I have known George when I was starting my coaching career, assisting Sheikh Mentauro at the Mighty Warriors. And we used to play at Aces Academy when he was very young, with karma, with knowledge, very quiet, very loving. I'm happy that God gave George to me as somebody who has made me to be who I am today.
A young man has left us, and the gap he has left in our football will never be no one will be able to fill that gap.
The body of the legend is now taken from here to Chivu for his burial on Friday, that is tomorrow. And now we say bye-bye to the legend George Chigova.
It's a bye indeed, and heartbreaking, losing so much talent at such a young age. Bulawayo Giants Highlanders have set out to end the season on a high when they face champions Gezi Platinum at Barberfield Stadium on Sunday.
It has been another disappointing season, which started off well for Highlanders with a 19-game winning streak that, however, came to a halt on match day 20, and from there things were never the same. As the curtain comes down on the 2023 Casalaga Premier Soccer League season this weekend, there is anticipation in the Bosso camp that the boys will give their supporters a better ending when they clash with champions Ngezi Platinum Stars at Barberfield.
We are looking at giving our supporters a good send-off. So we are looking at trying to win the game at all costs.
Assistant coach Joel Lupasa is banking on the return of central defender Peter Mutua and versatile Andrew Mbeba from national duty to give them a boost.
We have an opportunity to rectify all the wrongs, to right them well. We have the two boys back from the national team. I think it's going to be a big boost, Peter and Andrew.
Meanwhile, Chikenina are also hoping to end the season on a high note as they face Wange in the Blazing Wange Sun this Sunday.
What is important is week in, week out, you don't take any game for granted. So we are there. We want to finish strong. So everyone is ready to go.
Match day 34 will see 6 matches involving relegation-threatened teams being played on Saturday, while the other 3 games are lined up for Sunday. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Zimbabwe got their T20 World Cup qualifying campaign back on track in emphatic fashion after beating Minnows Tanzania by 9 wickets in their second match of the tournament in Windhoek, Namibia this Thursday.
Zimbabwe kicked off their campaign on the wrong foot after losing to host Namibia by 7 wickets this Wednesday. That was all forgotten a day later after thumping Tanzania by 9 wickets. The Chevrons went into the match in search of nothing short of victory to enhance their chances of qualifying for the next year's T20 World Cup, which will be co-hosted by United States and the West Indies. The Chevrons used the pressure to work in their favor after putting Minnows Tanzania in their place. Tanzania batted first and were restricted to just 96 runs for 9 in 20 overs. First bowler Richard Ngarawa set the platform with 3 wickets before captain Sikandar Raza chipped in with another 3 wickets. With their opponents having struggled for runs, the Chevrons batsmen came out to capitalize and they duly delivered. Openers Innocent Kaya and Tadeusz Chimarimani started briskly before Kaya was dismissed for 21 runs. Veteran Sean Williams then joined Marumani on the crease and the pair chased down the target in just 10 overs. The victory was Zimbabwe's first at the tournament, where the top 2 teams will progress to next year's T20 World Cup. Zimbabwe faced Uganda in their third match of the tournament on Sunday. In other matches, Kenya beat Nigeria by 4 wickets in a tight match that was decided by the penultimate ball.
And from sport, we now take a look at the weather.
Pleasant evening, Zimbabwe. It is time for your evening weather report and forecast. My name is Benjamin Kwaramba. We had some light thunder showers yesterday, where Nyanga received 16 millimeters and Kai with 11 millimeters. Other areas not captured there had falls of less than 10 millimeters. Meanwhile, in the satellite images received this afternoon, the show cloud over the northwestern corner of the country there as well. By afternoon, we had some cloud, especially over the northern half of the country, which gave you some partly cloudy conditions that we experienced for the better part of today. Tomorrow, we expect areas to the north that include Matabeleland North, northern parts of the Midlands, all Mashonaland provinces, including Harare, and the northern parts of Manicaland to be cloudy. There's a chance of a light shower that may be thundery in places, while areas to the south, Matabeleland South, Bulawayo Metropolitan, southern parts of the Midlands, Masvingo, as well as southern parts of Manicaland, expect some sunny conditions, mild at first, becoming warm to hot by afternoon. Now for the temperatures in detail, the capital city Harare expect a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius. Kobulawe 22 and 35. Gweru 20 and 34. Mutare 19 and 35. There's a thunder shower that can be expected, especially in the afternoon. Kwekwe 18 and 35, 17 and 35 is expected for Kadoma. Masvingo, starting off 21, 36 maximum. Chinoi 22 and 36. Lupane a maximum of 39. Very hot conditions over the Lupane area. Those starting off 25 in the morning. Bindura 21 and 35. Marondera 15 and 30. Gwanda 24 and very hot conditions, 41 degrees Celsius by afternoon. Victoria Falls 38 maximum, starting off 21. Kariba 23, 38 maximum. Great Zimbabwe 21 and 36. Nyanga 29 maximum, starting off 15 in the morning. 20 and 36 for Matopos, 18 and 29 for Chimani. Day after tomorrow, again, areas to the north expect some cloudy conditions where isolated afternoon or evening showers are expected, especially over Matabele northern parts of the Midlands, all Mashonaland provinces, as well as the northern parts of Manicaland. While areas to the south, that's your Matabele South, Masvingo, and the southern parts of Manicaland expect some sunny conditions to prevail. Zimbabwe, that does it in tonight's edition of the Weather Report in Focus. Let's make a date again tomorrow. At the same time, it's back to the main desk.
And with that, we've come to the end of this news bulletin. From all of us here at Pockets Hill Studios and Montrose, have a wonderful evening.
Good night.
This is World of Business, your weekly cutting-edge business show where we delve into the trending business issues and latest developments on the stock markets. We also herald unsung but thriving business entrepreneurs on this program. Hello and welcome. My name is Malvin Matara. According to the Zimbabwe Investment and Development Agency, ZIDA, Zimbabwe secured investments worth over 3.4 billion United States dollars during the third quarter of the year. Now, as the Second Republic's policies centered on the ease of doing business continue to bear fruit. In the second segment, we are going to be looking at the status of the foreign direct investments and domestic direct investments in Zimbabwe as the year ends, and also placing emphasis on the special economic zones that were outlined by the Second Republic. But first, we take a look at the exchange rates as of today.
Exchange rates as of Wednesday were: the Zimbabwe dollar to the United States dollar interbank rate was at $5,774.27. The Zimbabwe dollar to the Great Britain pound interbank rate was at $7,232. The Zimbabwe dollar to the euro interbank rate was at $6,297.48. The Zimbabwe dollar to the South African rand interbank rate was at 32 cents. The Zimbabwe dollar to the Botswana pula interbank rate was at $427.32.
We also give you commodity prices on the global market.
Commodity prices as of Wednesday afternoon were: gold per ounce traded at $2,024.10 after it went up by 0.11 percentage points. Silver per ounce traded at $24.23 after it went up by 0.02 percentage points. Copper per pound traded at $382.10 after it went down by 0.73 percentage points. Platinum per ounce traded at $938.55 after it went up by 0.06 percentage points.
Well, that's all we had for you for the first segment of World of Business. Do join us in the second segment of the show.